Okay, so there was no One Piece today, but I'll take my most popular series on my channel. Oh dear. Well, no, oh dear. I like him. So let's get on with it. One Punch Man. Something. Let's double check. One Punch Man 77, bored as usual, begins where we left off last week, where Saitama was just feeling really depressed because he's because he's realising he's in the same boat as he normally is, of no one's strong enough to challenge him. And then someone rolls up, and it's King! Hooray! Now, King, this whole point of this chapter, it's broken into, like, 80% of this conversation, the last 20% is pretty good too. I'll get into that. So because because of how he rolled up on the bike, so King this whole time is just trying to kind of comfort Saitama, but it's only so much he can do. I feel like, I don't know, I was just thinking about other characters who'd be great at it, and Movement Rider, I'd love to see an interaction between him and Saitama like this, because who else is as heroic as Saitama? It's a Movement Rider, of course, so I think he could maybe really just help him out, because he's struggling, because Saitama's having these inner turmoil of being a hero. King's trying to talk to him about it, and he's as strong as Saitama, but maybe we need someone who's actually as heroic as Saitama to kind of listen to his viewpoints and be like, well, I understand where you're coming from. Well, he's like, as a hero, I kind of understand, but you're making a difference, kind of thing. Which is the point of King. King's trying to make this point throughout this whole chapter, but he's not doing it the best, so he's trying to help him out, of course. So he rolls up and he's like, hey, Saitama, what's going on? And then, as they start talking a little, he's like, wow, even you're depressed. And he's like, no, listen, Saitama, like, it could grow back, there's hair advancements, everyone just immediately assumes it's the hair, and he's like, okay, King, it's not that, they don't assume it's that, and then he just starts talking about his problems, of course. He's like, you know, I'm so strong, I'm bored, there's no challenge for me anymore, and then he goes on to try and explain it to King as if it's a video game, and he's like, you know, if you reach all your characters level 99, there's nowhere to go from there. You know, you can't do anything else. And King, just very snarkily, just kind of goes, well, you know, you can mingle with other characters, you can try and beat the game in the fastest time, you can do all this, and this. And I get it what King was trying to do. I get it King was just trying to make a point about, like, saying, well, you know, that you can also do this in game. And Saitama was like, this is reality, though. But he's not got it wrong. And King makes this point again in the future, you know, there's other ways he can enjoy himself, you know. Just because you're strong... yes, okay, you're stuck at your strength level, Saitama. That's something you can't deny. If for all we know, you might be getting stronger. That's something quite scary as well. To know Saitama is nowhere near his limit and he might be growing stronger. I only say that because recently in a interview, Murata said something like Saitama trains every day still. Now, of course, if you're stuck at that strength level, there's two options. You could be stuck at his strength level, which is fine, because at the end of the day, you're the One Punch Man. You don't need to worry about growing stronger too much. But there's still the off chance Saitama is actually growing stronger, which is quite worrying for my boy. Because I just feel really bad for him this chapter, because he's really depressed and I love him. He's my favourite superhero. And when he's sad, I'm sad. And when he's happy, I'm happy. And when he does something awesome, it's incredible. So basically, he's still trying to explain his problems. And he's like, you know, no one's a challenge for me anymore. I can't feel the excitement of nearly winning a battle or the bitter tears of defeat anymore. Like, these emotions just don't exist in me. I can't get excited about anything. Like, life is boring. And there's no challenge. Without challenge, then there's no way to enjoy it, and I feel really bad. Like I said, I'm feeling really bad for Saitama. And King, to be fair, is trying to cheer him up, and he's like, "You're incredibly strong, and you're a hero. You know, you're helping people." And then he makes these other points. He's like, "Well, there's a dance class by the station. You can always go there." And Saitama's like, "What?" And I like this point I'm making because it's like what I said earlier. You know, there's other ways to enjoy life. It's like, go take a trip, go do dance. Like, you know, hero for hobby, that's fine. Like, you're a hero for fun. That's great. But, you know, it doesn't mean you can't have multiple hobbies. This might be a great way for him to get some excitement back in his life. Because as a hero, and as a person, he's undefeatable. He's the, like, short-cape body, but to everyone else, to us, he's the One Punch Man. And it's for that reason, basically, he just needs to get in his head. He will at some point. I think this will be like the final. Like, you know, he's making an impact on people with his actions. You know, just a couple of chapters ago, we had Suiryu, who wants to become a hero now because of Saitama, and obviously because of Max and Snek as well, but Saitama especially, who saved him and was like, yeah, I do this because I'm a hero and I want to help people. And then on top of that, so from there we have, and you know, of course, so Fubuki, growing stronger. Genos, I'm hoping, is more mellow now. Like he said, I used to be like, so like, I think when he looked at, remember when he, after Boros, he looked at my master like, I used to be like that until I met Master Saitama. You know, Genos has kind of chilled out a bit. You know, Sonic has a goal now. He's not just, if anything, he's more productive because he's not assassinating or doing ninja jobs. He's just working on growing stronger to defeat Saitama. He's not actually harming as many people. Hopefully. That's not 100%. You know, King, I think, is growing better because he's like... Because, that was quite a funny little bit as well, when King was saying, you know, like, you know, you are the strongest hero, but you have yet to reach the pinnacle of heroism. And he's talking about true hero kind of thing, and Saitama's like, you do realise you have no right to say any of this. You have no right at all, King. But, you know, King does make some valid points. And he's like, you know, you can't be worrying about... So he tries to basically keep his mind off it and trying to give him new goals. And then that's it. You know, King's probably the closest thing Saitama has to a friend. Because I can't imagine talking about him like... I can't imagine him talking about something like this to Genos. Because Genos would be like, but Saitama Sensei, you're the strongest. But Sensei, you're the best in the world. You know, don't worry about this, don't worry about that. But King's genuinely listened to his problems and he's like, well, what about this and that? And he's trying to help him come up with solutions. And I really enjoy that. And I'm like, good on you, King. You know, you may be a bit of a fraud, but you're alright at times. You know, he's a bit like Hercule in that way. So, we also, and you know, he basically says to him, you know, until you reach the pinnacle of heroism, you shouldn't be worrying about tedium and tedious things. And that kind of strikes a chord with Saitama, but still Saitama's like, yeah, that sounds boring as hell still. You know, I hope he finds something that just makes him go, yes, that. I hope it's soonish. He doesn't deserve to keep being in this rut that he is in. Then, we cut to Garou, who shows up out of nowhere super injured, which I was actually incredibly happy about, because I really thought for a second Watchdog Man was going to be taken out of the picture, and I always wanted to see what Watchdog Man was like. Especially because, back when we first meet heroes, he's really the first hero of the Hero Association we see who can do stuff. So, like, he's still on a pile of monsters, and he's like, and we're like, oh, okay, I want to learn more about this guy. Garou has been destroyed by Watchdog Man, and he's like, it's a good thing I left that territory, because he doesn't leave his territory, but he is a monster. How can a furry be so damn strong? And it's just that great moment of, you know, we see him fight, and then it's just that where he's like, water flowing rock crushing fist, like, and then just Watchdog Man just got stop, and then Garou's just like, stop shaking. But he's very strong, and I like that. I was really worried that he'd be knocked out of the picture. No, I'm so happy. I want to see Watchdog Man fight more. He's, you know, that's the bar of an S-class hero. And then we get to see Garou get really excited, and this is where they're opposites, Garou and Saitama, because, you know, Garou's still growing stronger. He lost and he felt the bitter defeat, and now is the excitement because he knows he can grow stronger, and he can't wait to fight an opponent like that because he wasn't used to fighting. He made the point as well, he's not used to fighting four-armed opponents, like basically like non-humanoid opponents, and this is what he's going to have to worry about if he wants to become the greatest monster in the world. Is not everyone fights like a human. So, for example, obviously you got Watchdog Man, and then we've got mixed fighters. So, for example, Genos, like, okay, sure, he might be able to take him hand to hand, but I can't imagine Garou being that okay when Genos goes and incinerates him, or Tatsumaki, of course, when she just brings down a meteor on him, which she can do. Oh dear. And of course she can do a lot of other stuff. So, on his way, oh, I forgot to mention this as well. So this is great in the moment at the end of the conversation, and, you know, King's trying to cheer up Saitama, and he's like, listen, come on, come back to me, we'll go play some games at my place. And he's like, no, I don't feel it, I can't. Like, I don't feel joy or excitement anymore. Like, you know, you can't do anything to do it. And then King's like, come on, I'll even give you a handicap, but I'll just use 2 of my fingers. So Saitama's like, oh, you freaking kidding me? I'm gonna kill you! And it's like, so there are ways for him to get excited. He just needs that, he just needs that, like, challenge. Or there's a chance to win. Which is kind of weird that, in a sense, Saitama is a lot worse than King at video games. But from the defeat of being, I mean, even that could have been like a motivator for him. Like King, yeah, sorry, hay fever, itchy throat. But even that could have been like that could have been a challenge for him at the very least. He could have gone like, wow, I lost at games. I should try getting better at games. You know, there's other ways for him to challenge himself. But I suppose that's kind of what he'll learn along the way. Because, well, you know, he is the strongest man in the world, but he's got to have some form of character growth too. So, anyway, Garou sees King, right? And oh my god, it's the S-Class Hero King. And he's excited, and he's like, what do I do? I'm in no position to fight him, but I'm gonna go for him. You know, I might never get this chance again. It'll be a long time before I get this chance. I have to take it. So he goes running towards King. Saitama isn't even in the frame. Like, he's not even... he's off Garou's radar. He doesn't care about him. Then he goes... So he's like, you know, I'll do this. I'll adjust my position. I'll look for any tiny shift in his form to prepare for what's next. Because he's the strongest in the world. It's only at the very last panel you see Saitama... Okay, so we knew what was going to happen. We did. But that doesn't mean it wasn't any less funny. It was just great. It's just a single panel of Saitama going, doof. You can't see it, but I lifted my leg up. Garou goes flying into a wall. And like, it's not even like just slightly into a wall. He deeply goes into that wall. That wall should have crumbled down. That was quite funny though. It made me laugh for a bit. I was like, it was just how sudden it was. That was incredible. I love that so much. It was great. So, but it also says about where Garou is and how he's not ready to face Saitama. Even when he is ready, he's probably going to lose when he fights Saitama. But only because the opponents who have truly been ready to kind of at least give some try and at least kind of fight him were Boros and Carnage Kabuto. And I say that because they recognised his strength. And they at least recognised his strength. They saw him and they went, that's a powerful opponent. Like Boros, like, he's got immeasurable energy. Carnage went to fight him. He immediately backed off because he knew if he fought him, if he hit him, he would have died. And he recognises that guy's power. And so it'll get to that point where Garou sees Saitama and he's like, this guy's strong. Who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is. He's a hero. Why do I not know who he is? He's very strong. And he's got to kind of recognise that, I think, in order to at least stand some form of chance against Saitama. To recognise how strong Saitama is your first step to defeating Saitama. That's how it goes in the One Punch world, at least. Kind of. So, then it ends with kind of just King and Saitama walking off, and then King's just kind of filling in Saitama what everything's happened. Like, oh, some group of monsters happened, and then, you know, and then they start talking about the hero hunter Garou, and Saitama's like, yeah, I heard about him. Apparently he's similar to me because he wants to, you know, he reminds me of me because he's going out his way to become a monster, just like I went out of my way to become a hero. And then King's like, I hope you get to meet him someday, and he's like, yeah, I do too. Garou just unconscious in the wall. But yes. That was a good chapter. It was talking, but it had that lovely ending as well. We got to see a bit of Watch Dog Man fight, which was great. I've always been curious about Watch Dog Man, so now we see Orm in action. I'm happy about that. Saitama kicking Garou was the funniest bit of the whole thing. I wonder how many more rounds of Garou versus Saitama we're gonna get. I'd love a few more. I don't know when we'll get them though. Well, that's part of the joy of them. They just kind of happen. Like, we didn't expect it the first time when Saitama thought he was getting mugged. We didn't expect it this time when Garou thought he was going to fight King. I hope we get a couple more before that final fight of Saitama versus Garou. And there's going to be this moment in Garou's head where it clicks and he's like, this guy defeated me at every point. And then he's like, this is a strong opponent. That kind of thing. But yeah, overall, a good chapter. I want my boy to feel better. That was funny. And it was interesting, to say the least. I don't know what's going to happen next chapter. I imagine it's going to be a lot of planning against the Monster Association. With the Hero Association, like, okay, we need to do this, and this kind of thing. But yeah, overall, good. If you like One Punch Man, I do too. Maybe subscribe and give it a like. Because I do these when they come out. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. And I'll see you when I see you. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys.